Hey guys, welcome back to a new video. This video we are back with our PCG series. I'll be showing you all how you all can create this spline based biome. So right now it's just grass, but if I extend this a bit, let's say, yeah. So as you can see, I can actually, let's make it even bigger to show you all exactly how it is. So yeah, so you have this biome spline, and if I click on it, I have everything which I can control here. So if I increase the tree radius, let's say, as you can see, and let's decrease our tree, increase our tree density. So let's add some height to the grass probably. So increase it to 2. And grass density also we can control. If we want less, so if you want like very high density grass, that's also there. So yeah, it's a very useful tool, and it's a series, and the next series I'll be adding a lot more stuff to this, to adding your custom houses inside and stuff like that with fences and stuff. So make sure to follow it, and it's going to be a pretty useful tool. So yeah, let's just dive into the video. All right, so let's begin. First things first, let's create our actor blueprint and name it, let's say, DP_forest biome. You also need to create your PCG graph. I'll create an empty graph. Let's name it PCG_forest biome as well. Go ahead, open up your actor blueprint, add your PCG component. Make sure you assign the graph and compile. Next thing, you need to add your spline component. Once you've added the spline component, one thing you want to do is make sure the closed loop is on, and I'll just extend my spline a bit. Compile and add it. Yeah. So now let's add our PCG logic. First thing what we want to do is add some basic grass in the ground. Let's do that. So in your PCG graph, first thing you want to do is get spline data. Make sure your actor filter is set to self. From that, you need the spline sampler node. In this, make sure your unbounded is selected true, and also their dimension is on interior. Okay. Next, we want a transform points node. And lastly is our static mesh. Sorry. And I'll just go ahead and add a mesh entry. So I'm using this black alder pack. You can use whatever grass mesh you guys are using. So I have 2 of those. So I'll just add that. Actually, I'll just use one of them for this demonstration. So if you see, it's there, but it's very uniform and everything is of the same scale. Doesn't look very natural. So let's just change that. Do that. We need firstly the scale. Make sure you change your scale minimum to 0.6 and scale max. Make sure it's different value. You can go according to the mesh you're using. And you see already, you can't spot it's already looking a bit different. Now we just need to populate it a bit more. So for that, you need to control this interior sample spacing. Let's say I'll make it 40. And yeah, it's a bit too much, probably around 55 or something. Yeah. All right. So what I want to do is control this from my actor, not over here, so that I can test it properly. So inside your actor blueprint, go ahead and add a new variable. I'll name this grass density. The type will be float. Make sure it's public and give it a default value of 50. Now in your PCG graph, do get actor property and just type in grass density. And if you expand your spline sampler, you will see all the exposed parameters. What we are looking for is this interior sample spacing. So connect that, save, and yeah. So now if you click on your actor, you have your grass density over here. So if you see, it's actually reverse. If you increase it, the density is getting lower. If you so yeah. So I'll keep it something around, let's say 65. So this looks like a good number to me. And let's also control our grass height. So same thing. If you expand your transform points node, you will find your scale max variable. And if you hover over it, you see it's type vector. So I'll just add a new float parameter. So I'll name it grass, let's say grass height. And the type will be vector. Make sure it's public. And actually, I'll add a float variable. And in our construction script, I'll add a new variable. So this will be your grass vector and the type will be float. Make sure that's public as well. Over here, actually inside my tooltip, if you see description, I'll just add do not edit. And over here, your grass height, I'll give it a default value of 1. What you want to do is take your grass height and set your grass vector. I'll just split this and add this everywhere. Compile and save. And other thing, you can add your grass density, grass options, and grass height into a category. Now inside your PCG graph, again get actor property, and this time you need to get your grass vector and connect that to the scale max. Save, and let's check if it's working. See right now, if I select your, you need your change your grass height. So let's do 1.6. Yeah, okay. Yeah, perfect. And all right, so I'll compile this. Okay, that's better. So another thing what we want to do is, if you want, you can do the same and set your grass minimum option as well. One thing, if you want a lesser height grass, you can have the grass height at 0.7 and probably decrease the grass density even more, like 40. Or you can just have it around 60 and have the grass height to like something like 1.7. All right. All right, now this is fine. So now let's add some trees in it. Okay. Next thing is the trees. So, okay, open up your PCG graph. You can collapse this. And you need to do the same thing. Get your spline data. And also get your spline sampler. And from here, actually what I want to do is I'll reset the value. I'll add a density noise. What this does is, if I debug this, I can just show you. So just gives like a random checker pattern. All right. And from this, I want to do a density filter. Another thing you can do is add in your interior density fall off curve, add a key, and let's say the value can be 1, and add a new key. Time will be 0, value will be 0. And you can do a density filter from that, and the density. So if you check, yeah. So if I disable my static mesh spawner node, you can see it's only selecting the outer side. What we want to do is invert this filter. This is what we need. All right, you don't need your attribute noise actually. That's what is it showing? Actually, you can take that as well. Now, add a static mesh spawner node. I'll just add the grass itself to see. That's it. And now, if you want to, let's say, change these values in your density filter, if you just increase the lower bound, it will just keep increasing. All right. So I'll disable my debug, and I'll add, instead of this, I'll add, like, let's take a tree and add that. Source region. All right, but it's just too much. What I want to do is, in my spline sampler, interior sample spacing, I'll just, let's increase this to, let's say, around 400. All right. The thing, you also need the same transform points node to control the heights. So let's add that. I'll give a scale max of 2. All right. So you can see it's working fine. If you feel it's too much in your attribute noise, now if you edit your noise min to let's say 0.3, all right. So over here, if I decrease the upper bound, so this is your density inside, and if in your spline sampler, if you control the, and this is will be your density outside. All right. Go ahead. So let's go ahead and make these some public variables. You can enable your grass as well. So if you see, it's like this now. And if I go ahead and increase my spline, okay, now let's add some public variables to control this. First thing will be, of course, our density for the trees. So if you see, this is a very high number. So okay, so in your forest, in your actor blueprint, I'll add a new method. This will be tree density. Type will be float. Make sure it's public. I'll give it a default value of let's say 800, and I'll add it in a category called tree options. Compile and just copy this node, and instead of grass density, just rename it tree density, and you can just connect that to, let's find the node, interior sample spacing, save, and let's check tree density. So if I decrease this, you can see the volume is more. All right. Now, next thing, we want to add your tree radius, like how deep you want the tree to be. So that we can do by controlling our lower bound amount in the density filter. So go ahead and add a new variable. I'll name this tree radius. Make sure it's public. Add it to your tree options category. Just copy this, rename this tree radius, and connect it to also. Okay, before you connect it, make sure you have a default value of let's say 0.3. And also you can do is add a slider range from 0 to 1 and just connect that now. All right, let's check. Okay, so you have your tree radius. If I increase this, if it's 1, it's in the entire this thing. If I make it 0.3, 0.4, let's increase the density and then decrease it. Pretty cool. All right. And yeah, I think that's all what we need to do in this video. Next video, I'll show you how you can add a path and also like how you can add custom buildings in this and make sure the tree doesn't grow there and stuff. If you have any other ideas, make sure to let me know. And okay, one thing last we can do is also what I'm noticing is the tree height. Oh, I think it's fine. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. So yeah, let me know in comments what you want to see next. And yeah, thank you guys and see you guys in the next video.